One guy who's rolling right now is Moses Moody. He's a lifetime 43% shooter from the three-point line in the month of January. He stopped by with Fitz and Buki.
So Moses Moody, 26, 9 of 15, but you got to start with maybe my favorite play of the year. Miss, rebound, miss, rebound, miss, rebound, and layup. And you going against multiple guys on the Jazz, relentless. Where did that come from tonight?
Yeah, just bringing the energy. You know, it's a long road trip. Last game of the road trip, we got to find it. We out here in Utah, you can't breathe. But early on, you got to find a way to do it. So we got the opportunity to get the ball and go get it.
Just explain how much fun it is to play when you guys are having the ball moving like this. 38 assists. That ball was hopping around, whether it was transition, half-court offense. You obviously benefited from that.
Yeah, it's really fun. Everybody get touches, even when you're not shooting it. Just feeling the ball in the possession, it's a good feeling. So being able to see the play ahead, everybody being willing to do it, it's fun, it's productive. That's the way to play basketball.
All right, let me just embarrass you with love. 26 points, but you were plus 28, best on the team. No turnovers, best on the team. And then the 5 threes, you're up over 40% for the season. Is it all just hard work, or at 23 now, are you becoming more confident in this league?
It's hard work, and with work comes confidence. So, you know, seeing the benefits of the work that I put in, and it's not just hard work. It's learning, it's paying attention to your teammates, paying attention to opponents, watching film, just all of that. So I guess that can be considered maturity as well. So, yeah, it's all tied in together.
You battle and you're scrappy pretty naturally. As a team, it seems like you guys are kind of embracing this mentality from here on out. You guys forced 19 turnovers again tonight. You were everywhere. There's multiple guys getting deflections. Talk to me about that mentality. Is that the way it has to be every single game from here on out now?
Yeah, I think that's we found something there. That's part of our DNA. Like you said, I'm scrappy naturally. I grew up with a bunch of brothers and cousins and wrestling and all of that. So, yeah, I feel it out here on the floor. When one guy gets into that mentality, it's contagious and everybody can feel it. So when we get in that mode, it's a positive thing for the team for sure.
Talk about learning a little bit when you get to see Al Horford and Draymond play together defensively. Colette and I were enjoying it so much. You're out there as an excellent defender early on. That's kind of a fun way to start the game. Yeah,
I enjoy it, being able to be on the ball, knowing I got that. And they got my back, you know, supporting anything that I do, any gambles or mistakes that I make, they cleaning it all up. So, yeah, I appreciate it. I don't get to see it as much because they're behind me, but I enjoy it.
The Jazz are another one of these teams that play at this super fast pace, third in pace. They love to get out in transition, but you guys kind of turn that back on them. You scored in transition. Multiple guys scored in transition. Is that the preference from here on out for you guys offensively, just trying to get fast break points and transition points before defenses are set?
Yes, because that probably means we play good defense and got a deflection or got a run out in that possession. But playing fast, playing basketball, we got some really good players, so everybody just being able to feel the game, and that's how those fast, quick opportunities come early in the possession, like you say.
All right, we appreciate you stopping, Moses. Rona and Kareem raised a scrappy, talented, wonderful kid.
Yes,
you
they did.
were great tonight.
Yes,
you go tell your buddies you were plus 28, best in the team tonight.
I got you.
What was your favorite part of the box score?
Not the turnovers. That was my least favorite, but 38 assists is nice. You know, when we were smart and we made this simple play, we got really good looks. And then when we tried to do too much, we turned it over. But a lot of good stuff, and you know, great win, good way to end the trip. And now we got to go home. We have a few days to rest and practice, so a lot of big games coming up.
You've started Al now the last 2 games that he's been available. Are you kind of leaning that way a little bit?
I am. I really like Al now that he can play 24 minutes, which is where his restriction is. I feel comfortable starting him and still being able to close with him. We can work the math on that, and it's nice having him with Draymond to start the game defensively. So I like what I'm seeing from that group.
You feel like you guys figured anything out these last 4 games playing without Jimmy?
Well, I mean, 2-2 for a road trip without one of the best players in the league. The emotional letdown of losing him for the season, I'll take that result for sure. We can still be a really good team. That was the first thing Jimmy said to me, the next day after the results came in. He said, we can still win at a high level. And I agree with him, but we have to obviously recalibrate a little bit, and that's what we're doing. That's what we've done on this trip. And hopefully this is, a sign of what we can do. I mean, I've said this to you guys, but Al and Melt have changed our team, just the two-way capability, Melt's ability to get by people, Al's size, his shooting. So even without Jimmy, we've got a lot of depth and, a lot of guys who can contribute and win games.
Steph's legs look cut up. Is that a normal thing? Got a lot of Band-Aids on his legs.
Yeah. When you're 37 in the NBA, you got a lot of trinkets, a lot of padding, a lot of stuff. So he's remarkable the way he keeps himself in top condition, and it's a lot of work and sometimes a lot of tape as well.
Moses, what do you think the biggest difference was tonight?
I think we got everybody involved. It was a flow out there. It was like, it was going from 20 to 10 to 20 to 10. So that last stretch, being able to rally together and go on that last round when we needed it was a big thing.
That first half, you guys made 15 threes, 7 twos. Like, what was working for you guys offensively in the first half, and what did you see from me?
I think the driving and kicks was good, and then drive, kick one more. Playing fast, defense turning into offense, all of that contributed to it.
Overall, 2-2 trip, you guys finished with a win. What do you take away from the trip and getting 4 games under your belt without Jimmy?
Yes, we're figuring it out, and overnight the season changes, the team changes with Jimmy going out like that, and it's like any other process. You got to figure it out over time, and that's the process that we're in now. So I'm glad we're able to get those wins under our belt and continue to figure it out.
Moses, you feel like everybody's kind of through the emotional part of it, of the injury and the aftermath?
Yeah, that's the way that the NBA works. Crazy things happen every day. You gotta be able to move forward. Not even just the NBA. That's how life works. You got to be able to read and react, change course, and work with what you have now. And I think that's where we at. That's what we're doing.
What does Al give to the starting lineup? How does his presence out there change that dynamic?
That's a great way to ask that question. He has a lot of presence, and that's on the defensive side. On the offensive side, you feel when Al's on the floor. And that's us on the offensive side, and I feel like defense feels his presence as well. So he's obviously going to knock down the shot so much on defense. He can get. He's just a smart. He played the game for so long. He's always got the right reads. He's gonna cut. He's gonna slip when he needs to. He's always in the right spot. So he has a lot.
What do you think?
Well, I think it starts with me being fully cleared to be able to play more minutes and play more. That definitely has helped me.
You started the majority of your career. How much more comfortable is that?
Yeah, I think for me it's kind of what I've been accustomed to, but I understand. Ultimately, there's a lot of variables that go into it, and I've also learned, when I need to come off the bench and make sure that I come in with a certain level of intensity. But yeah, definitely when I start, for sure, it's something that I'm more used to doing.
They bumped you from 20 to 24, right?
Around there, yeah. Well, it's important, just the fact that I've been able to, the past couple games, get some really good reps with, with that first group there with Steph and Draymond, and getting to understand playing with them and reading stuff off of them, and but also, I understand that I have to play with the second unit some as well, so we can have that balance. But for me, it's been beneficial being able to play with those two guys and just really trying to see how I can help and just try to pick things up and learn along the way.
What are the keys to playing with those two?
It's just they're just so good at making reads and anticipating way before the defense. And I wasn't able to catch it, but then in the second half, similar position, I was able to slip to the basket and get a dunk. So it's like quickly learning, along the way because of than what we're seeing it or what's going on. And Steph is the same way. So it's just trying to play off of them.
Sometimes feel a little bit out of sync in this offense compared to all the offenses you played with.
At the beginning, I was trying to find my way, but I think now I'm at the point that I understand kind of what I have to do and where I have to be, and ultimately we're just kind of playing, and there's no really set rules. We're just kind of going, and so it's a different challenge for me, but it's a challenge that I'm excited each game, continuing to get better and get more comfortable with all the guys.
What'd you like tonight, particularly offensively?
I think overall, just weathering the storm of our early turnovers, and then we had it was like transition. We were throwing the ball all over the place, playing a little rush, but then we settled in, and when we got the ball moving, made them, make rotations, guys were just, finding themselves open, especially for behind the arc. Mo had an unbelievable game. Everybody on the bench who came in contributed, extended leads. So it was obviously, an effort, everybody showing up, but with 20 turnovers, you can play better, but thankfully shots went in.
Utah's big guns didn't do much. Do you attribute that more to them having off nights, or you guys having good team defense, or both?
Usually in the league, it's a little bit of both. It's not a night where our good offense doesn't beat good defense, but we've been playing at a high level on that end of the floor, trying to rotate, be on a string. We know we're usually undersized, so it requires a little bit extra effort, and we've been doing that pretty well as of late. So, you could have the same defense and guys hit shots, and it's a different narrative. But thankfully, we were able to, have an impact on that end of the floor.
You like that look?
Yeah, just because we all know the conversation of Draymond at the 5. QP had some looks there. Al, knowing the back-to-back situation, but when he's available, he gives us another presence defensively, and he spaces the floor. Unbelievable passer. So he's kind of the full package, knowing it's limited minutes, but he's just such a presence, and it helps Draymond on the defensive end. It helps us collectively on the offensive end. The plus-minus showed that tonight, so it was good.
What does the Sundance win mean for you?
Well, you do projects not really looking for that type of acknowledgement. You do it about, for the content, for the story that you're trying to tell. But I was having a conversation with somebody, like these type of awards only kind of further the opportunity to tell Clarence's story. He's 95 years old. He's had such an impact on our country, through his civil rights work, his speech writing, his legal work for, Dr. King, and the fact that now we have a platform and opportunity from his own perspective, his own experience and his words, be able to tell his story in a documentary like that. So I know myself and the director, Ben Proudfoot, who worked on the project, we're ecstatic, but it's not about us. It's about him and, his life's work. So I'm happy to be a part of that team. I couldn't make it there last night, but I went 3 years ago when we did the Underrated doc and did some screenings up there. I guess ironically, it was the first time I've done an acceptance speech over WhatsApp video. So Ben was up there on stage and put the phone next to the mic, and I got to give like a 30-second speech. So I was there in spirit.
It's been over 10 years since you started Curry camp. One of those campers were East Wheeling. He went on to win MVP. What stood out to you about him then? And then what is it like playing against him now as he's making a name for himself in the league?
You see the raw athleticism, but just the motor, the skill set. At camp, he was a dominant presence or physical, presence at all three levels of scoring. Defensively, he's going all over the place, and he stood out. And then, to your point, he carried that. We always say we're just a small, stop on the next generation of talent's, journey to get to the league. And not every kid makes it, but somebody that is as talented as him to, be on this level, figuring it out on the fly. It's fun to watch, fun to see. There's a lot of Curry Camp alumni in the league now, which is pretty special. So I'm glad to still be around doing it and competing against those guys. Not really. I think our job is to keep winning games and keeping our energy as high as we can around here. We're not ignorant to what's going on around the league. Rumors and trade talks and who's on the block and all that type of stuff. So I know what's going on, but right now it's just about trying to continue to win, because if we lose sight of that on the court, all that other stuff doesn't really matter.
Not necessarily with this player, that player. I don't know, an approach.
We've always had a expectation, as myself, Draymond, just knowing the conversations we're having all the time. I don't ever get into hypotheticals. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. It's not my job to do that. Mike is in the entire front office, I'm sure, making calls. I'm sure, taking looks, seeing what's going on. And then if there's something material, something real, we have conversations about it. And decisions are made. So that's our process. It's always been that way. I'm assuming it's going to be that same way over the next week and a half. But when stuff happens, you'll know.
Through the years, how long do you feel like you have those conversations?
Every offseason and every lead up to the trade deadline, whether something happens or not. Again, there's a trust that exists in the communication. Was started with Bob, it's transitioned to Mike. Doesn't mean every conversation goes the way I want it to. Doesn't mean they get the feedback that they want. But it's collaborative. And again, it's not my job to make those decisions, but you want to be in a team and a culture that, again, I know if there's something material, they're going to run it by me. And if it's not, I don't necessarily need to know what's going on.